Hi there, it's Carrie Palmer. I ran into two ladies. No, I didn't. I interrupted two ladies in their conversation today in a restaurant. They were talking about somebody's kid that they knew, and typical conversation you hear everywhere. They said, I can't believe the way they're raising the kids. They're like, these kids get away with everything. They're horrid. They're just blah. You hear this story everywhere you go. I won't say who, but somebody close to me recently said they visited somebody that they love. And it's like, oh my God, these children. It's like, and I remember all this stuff happening because I have a child right now who's 24 years old. And that generation was the crash test dummy generation for getting information in your hand, cell phones. That was the biggest thing we all had to deal with, like when everybody's getting them, it's a thing, and it's like, what do we do? I think we caved in. She was in sixth grade and I was working. So it was like, so we could be it was just like all the kids have them. We're like, well, you're not all the kids, and trying to keep that boundary. So that was that generation. That was not fun. It's done. They all have these things now. We're all like this all the time. Hi, yeah. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So that wasn't even the problem. That just added insult to injury. I honestly cannot believe we have come to the place with our offspring, our youth, that we have. I don't watch TV. Oh my God, thank God. I see enough in what I see. So I don't pay attention to any of that because I have to stay connected to love and light. And if I watched all that, that's why people get like icky in this bubble cloud of ickiness around you, because you're so seeing what's going on everywhere. When you don't see what's going on, it doesn't affect you. So you only connect to your higher self and source. That's it. I don't participate in any of the other stuff that you guys are all getting all wrapped up in and whatever else all going on out there. I don't care. I don't want to know. I would not have light. So raising my child in this generation was already challenging. In seventh grade, which is junior high school, when she went to school, prior to this, she had been on sports teams her entire life. And during all of the sports, competitive sports, it started getting, as time went on, and it was her childhood, to where, there really are no losers. Everybody wins at soccer. Everybody wins at baseball. Everybody gets a trophy. And I was pretty proud of my child when we redid her room at one point. And she went through her box of trophies and awards and all this stuff she got for all the sports. I think she kept 3 trophies because she knew when she earned them. Other than that, they were just garbage. They were knickknacks that you had to dust. But it was fun. It was fun. It was playing sports. Everybody enjoys that with their kids. I got me playing soccer. So competitive sports, that's what we do with our kids. And then they go to 7th grade and they don't take score anymore. It's because everybody gets to play. That was the beginning of this generation. I remember many, many, many years ago, a family member of mine had a daughter who went yelling out in the street like, oh, my dad's beating me. And it was a lie. Police are called, you get in trouble. So we had these kind of things going on. And I'm sure they still go on everywhere. And at the same time, we have kids who are really in trouble, in dire straits, and need help. And how do you know the difference? So in my child's generation, in 7th grade, everybody got to be on the soccer team, all the teams, because everybody gets to play. And then starting in 8th grade, which was also junior high school, middle school, whatever they call it, then you try out for a team, and that's when you get into the legit, you're going to start taking score, and you better do the best you can. But it's the sensitivity of this generation that is what is my concern. I know with my own child, I had an only child that we had no choice if we were having any one and done. And my own child did not come from where I came from. I met her dad. We got married, and I didn't know he was well off. I just thought he was comfortable. He had a decent job. He had a decent house. But then I found out over time in marriage that there was a lot more connected family wise, and a lot of help with other family members. Like, long story short, over the course of my child's life, she had a very comfortable existence. She had everything paid for, college, didn't have to do anything, never had a job, had a job one summer during college. It was made very easy. When it came to homework and procrastination and laziness, oh my God, it was like things would get done last minute, Larry. But you know what was the other thing that I know parents do, because I was one of them and many others got involved, is the last minute Larrys and the people jumping in to help them do their projects. Because how can a kid know how to do a PowerPoint presentation? So dad does it, she does it, everybody steps in to help the kid because the kid is lazy. They don't want to do anything. So the parents do it, and then the kid turns it in, and it's amazing. They get a great grade, and everybody's happy until the next project. So there was a whole lot of this going on. Not a lot of incentive, motivation, drive. Now, that is the generation. Fast forward, my child's living in Los Angeles. She's been out of college for a year and a few months now. Not working yet, but that's thanks to dad. So on the other side of the coin, where I came from was the extreme opposite. I've shared my story, but 5 dads, mom moved me 26 times by the time I was 6th grade, physically abused, tortured, sexually abused, horrible childhood. It's all in a book that I will get out eventually. It's all written. It was tragic. It was like we were victims, and by all means. And my mom shot my dad in May when I was in 5th grade. I don't remember the year. And that was the end of the violence. But we were messed up. You know, wherever you go, there you are. She marries her 5th husband, and we have a beautiful life with this man. He was young, he was kind, he was caring, he provided for us. But the dam was already done. We were already completely disastrous because of my childhood, because I was never given anything. Life was hard. At 13, first I was babysitting all through my childhood before I was even 10. As soon as I was old enough, my 2 sisters and we took turns babysitting all these kids. We had like a bunch of clients that we all babysat for. And so we were making our own money that way. I was selling imprinted cards, mostly at Christmas time. I would go door to door to door to door and sell Christmas cards that I would send off, and they would get Christmas cards with their names imprinted on it, birthday cards, holiday cards, any cards. I did anything I could to make money. I was like, I know I'm never going to be given anything. And so I had to work my butt off for everything. My 2 sisters were given cars, and my parents said to me, your sisters didn't take care of their cars, so we're not giving you one. It's like those kind of things you would think are like, oh, you poor child. I'm scrappy. I get stuff done. I've been so successful at my career, incredibly successful. By the time I was 19, I didn't have the college option. I was in management already, over 41 people in Southern California at a manufacturing plant. People that were all older than me, every single one. But I was the assistant manager because I am scrappy and I am level-headed and I am smart and common sense. And I get it done. And I come from my heart. So I have never gone without. I will never go without because I had a challenging upbringing. Flip the coin back to my child who did not. And now she doesn't know how to be scrappy. So many of these kids have been coddled and loved and taken so good of care of that we don't want to hurt their little feelings. We want them to be coddled and take care. These are, think about it. In foreign countries, at 10 and 12, they're marrying these guys off and they're having babies. So let's not pretend that these are children when they're 15, 16. No, they are adults. They are functioning adults that have complete capabilities to do everything, and they want to have abilities to do everything because you're not always going to be there. And that's the key here. How long can you hold on to the remote control for your children? And why? Why would you want to? Why? When I took my daughter to college, it's like, okay, your dorm set, see ya. And I mean, my ex, like, come on. I'm like, come on, let's go. Just didn't want to leave. I'm like, she's fine, let's go. Got in the car, headed back to the other side of the state. And all these mothers like, oh, my baby, how am I going to do without my baby? It's like, you had a baby a long time ago, like 18 years ago, and that baby is now an adult that needs you to leave him or her alone so they can start their journey and not feel responsible for your happiness. That has to stop, parents. You have got to stop telling your kids you need them to be responsible for your happiness, because guess what? They're not, and they never will be. ever. On a side note, if you've ever told your kids that they're responsible for you when you're old, you better take care of that now too. Let them fly into their lives. You can take care of your situation now. Make sure you are completely comfortable and taken care of so they never have to take care of you. You can choose right now to make sure that is never on their plate. You can handle that. So what this video is about is we have this generation that has been coddled, loved, protected, taken care of, and now we have a generation of kids that don't know how to do anything. We have a generation of kids that now, this is the part that I really enjoy. I am now doing a YouTube channel. There are how many thousands, millions of young people traveling the globe, driving their minivans, their transit vans, whatever, doing videos, influencing you. These are the influencers of the generation. Children who don't want to work, they are driving vans and getting experiences. So we now have unemployment everywhere because the youngest people in the world are influencing us and our buying decisions. It's almost like, give me robots, is this my choice? We have a very sensitive generation. We've created this mess. We're being told, you can't call me this, you need to call me this. If you don't call me by the right name, you're going to break my heart. And I'm like, wait, so that means you're giving me your power by saying, if I don't call you a certain thing, I can say something wrong and you're going to be hurt. Is that smart? You know what saying that I don't think has been probably repeated in 30, 40 years? Does anybody remember the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names can never hurt me? But now we've taught an entire generation that, no, you don't let anybody use that word on you. What are we doing to ourselves, people? This is the part that I just cannot fathom. We have this soft generation who are going to be our leaders. So we have all of these different kinds of kids. The majority right now, my daughter's generation, and before her, when it got started, this is before cell phones and now cell phone generation, they are coddled, they are sensitive, and we have to be really, really careful that we don't hurt any feelings. On the flip side of the coin, recently I was helping somebody who was me. 11 years has been basically in a cage in his own home by his dad. He has now escaped and he will never, ever go back. But this kid, oh my God, it's like he knows he has been to absolute hell. He's lived in hell for 11 years. For the first 6, 7 years of his life, he knew love. But what has happened to this kid? A few years into his incarceration was the suicidal phase, where death is the only thing that sounds good. That's all you want to do is just die because you just don't want to live that way. But then it's like me, and this is why he reminds me so much of me. It's like you start having this voice in your head. There had to have been something inside him, your gut, whatever it is, saying, don't. There's a reason for you, whatever the voice is saying. And that's what stopped me from taking the pills, from jumping off the cruise ship. 3 times I wrote notes and I was going to kill myself because I was that depressed for 30 years. I was a disaster. I was a hot mess. I mean, my own kid never can fathom the fact that her own mother was depressed because she's never had to see it. But it's like, can't you take my word for it? You got my story. She actually has my book and I don't think she's read it. It's like, why should she? Why should she want to know what kind of crap I went through? Because I'm okay now. It's because of the crap I went through and the fact that nobody cared, that I had to pull up my own bootstraps and I had to do it myself. This kid is the brightest star I've ever seen and the only hope that I see for our planet, because he has had so much hurt in his heart for so long and he's beyond suicidal. So it's when you're beyond suicidal, you don't care if you live or die. If you don't care if you live or die, you don't have any fear. If you don't have any fear, you'll jump off any cliff. You'll do whatever it takes because you've had to do it your entire life. And he has had to. Oh, I'm not going here now, but in Oregon, they don't take care of their kids. And I get it. I mean, I get it that they give the kids back no matter what because of kids that go out in the yard screaming, ah, help. It's like, but this is a case by case basis. But this kid, he knows that he's going to take care of children. He is going to change the laws in this state. He is going to make good for so much bad that was done to him. His heart is so open, and he knows he can look back right now and go, I'm going to get you and be a victim. But he won't. He won't. He knows better because he knows what it feels like to feel that way. And he has so much love and light in his heart now. All he sees is the future and 18 and life and the beautiful plans he has. He's got a beautiful life ahead of him. He just needs to be able to be out of this story. But that was me, and I was in my story for 30 something years. So where I'm trying to go with this is we have kids, the majority we have coddled, we have made incredibly sensitive. We can't call them any name that isn't right in their wheelhouse, or we will hurt their feelings. We need to be stronger than this. I don't know what happened to humanity, but getting your feelings hurt is life. You're going to get your feelings hurt. You're going to get fired from a job. Another thing I heard in college, when my daughter was in college, you don't understand, but they can have mental health days off. They can take a day off of work for mental health. How many years has my sister worked? And she has never once in 40 years taken a day off for mental health. We all have mental health breakdowns, but we can't take time out of life to deal with them. We have to deal with them and live at the same time. I know I'm not popular with the younger generation. Frankly, I don't care ever who I'm really popular with, but I cannot believe how we have let this country get so soft and so sensitive that those kids are going to be running our country, burning books. Somebody told me that this is still going on. It's like, burning books are choices we get to make. Everything throughout our life is a choice we make. If I want to read a book, I'm publishing books. Are you going to burn my books? I'm sure somebody would love to. Who gets to decide what gets burned? We don't. We've got to stop this madness. We've got to stop the sensitivity. We've got to be able to look back at our history and know it was ugly. There were words that were said that were disgusting. We've grown. When I was young on Lake Mead with my mama and dad, guess what we were told to do with our garbage, with our bottles and cans? Sink them in the lake. We've grown, people. We've grown. Can we try to grow at the same time that we're growing? It's just like, it's so funny. One last word about my ex-husband. A scientist, mind you. Evolution all the way. We climbed out of the water. We stood up eventually. When I went through a course for meditation and I told him, it's like, yes, it was to expand your consciousness. The scientist said, I'll never forget this. Why would we ever want to expand our consciousness? We're climbing out of the water. We have fins and we stand upright. Do we want to do tadpole talk when we're standing? I can't make this stuff up. Expanding our consciousness, growing, learning from our past is why we are here. Apparently, we're not learning. We're seeing how sensitive we can be, and we're letting crazy people be in power. This world has gone crazy. Actually, one final note. My husband was a politician. My ex-husband was a politician. After his first term, which he went into office, and I believe every human being that decides to go into office, they go in because something was sparked in them. They have a passion. They've got a fire in their belly. I fully believe every human being on the planet should be encouraged and able, no matter what, to do one position for your term in office. Any office, president, congressman, senator, mayor, city councilman, school board, one term, 4 years, and then you're out. Because the second term, and when you start running for other offices, it's when you start feeling your power. You start thinking, wait a minute, I came in here with an idea, but then I saw how it really works. So politicians, career politicians, non-term limits, 3 terms, get the politicians all out. Let's recycle. Let's just put fresh blood in offices constantly, because this is clearly not working. Who do you believe? Who can you even trust? I wouldn't even watch TV or listen to politics, because you're listening to one person, but who's actually speaking? Who's actually writing the script? Where is the power and the money? So the overall message here, we have the kids who are coddled, who are precious and sensitive, and then those who were near death and basically wanted to die. And these are the people we have. And there's got to be some kids somewhere in the middle. Spoiling, coddling is clearly not working, making them sensitive. Abusing, torturing, it doesn't work. But at least those who survive it, who don't stay in their story, are going to be like me and this child. The rest of us are the ones who keep the stories going. We need to find a middle in raising our children. We need to stop letting them drive the bus. Our whole purpose on this planet in raising children is to keep them safe, keep them fed, provide for them, try to keep them safe, but let them discover who they came here to be. They have internal guidance just as much as you do. And the more you try and pound your story and your agenda and your partner's story and their agenda into this little body, they're going to take it all in. But it's just going to confuse the crap out of them. And it's going to take a long time before they can spit out all the stuff that you said was true when it wasn't really true, because it was something you heard, something happened to somebody somewhere and you believed it. So you passed it down to your kid. Stop. Don't give them any beliefs. Let them figure it out by themselves. And you need to challenge your own beliefs, because the ones you've been given, unless you experienced something firsthand, how can you believe it? Seriously. And because church tells you, you do this, it's a sin, you do that, you'll be damned, you believe it. I don't have any beliefs, because I get my messages from the one who started this whole planet, and it comes direct, and it is not skewed with any ickiness, any darkness whatsoever. There is no darkness. We are here to experience what we created on this planet. We came here to learn how it feels to be a good person, to be a bad person, to hurt somebody, to be hurt. And then we go back home and we exchange stories, and it's like, wow, I'm going to go back and I'm going to kill you. Okay, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to get raped. That is really how it happens. So you come here to experience these stories, but we come here to survive and to thrive. That's the whole plan. Help your kids stay upright, help them stay safe, but let them experience their story. Let them find their arrow, and then you help keep them course corrected on that arrow. That path will put them into brilliance. That's the only thing you should do for your children. Let them find their own arrow. Don't tell them you need to have a 2-parent family. You need to have this many kids. That's crap. That's your agenda. They don't know what they want to be. They don't know if they're going to love a man, a woman, a tree, a carcass, a building. Nobody can. Who cares who anybody loves anyway? I don't know why we even ever got there. Let them be who they are. Let them find out without any influence from you on what they should be. Let them just slowly unfold. See what they love. Take them to it. Don't expose them to all of your things, like your doll collection and your sports cars. Let them find what they love without the TV set, and then follow that path. That's going to be the strongest generation we ever had. I can't imagine how we'll get there. But people like me, people like Marianne Williamson, you should read some of her books. She talks and thinks like I do. She's probably the only hope we have, but this is definitely not a presidential message, because I do not do politics. I was married to it, and I know how it works. For the children, let's clean up this mess, okay? Let's get this done and get it done right. And those 2 ladies that I interrupted this morning at breakfast, I said, I'm going to have a blog post out by the end of the day. And I was like, I started writing in this, and I was like, I'm not writing this. I don't even know how to write it. I'm just going to do a video. And so there, I've done it, and now I'm going to get it out. And God, I hope we could turn this mess around. We've created this mess. Let's stop it.